So welcome to the Alumni Series. This is episode 3. This is a series about all players and coaches and personalities who've been part of the Junior A organization for years. My name's Lucas Arger, and today we are talking with Mr. Everything in 99, as your team would describe you, the one and only Gavin Prout. Gavin was a player of the Junior A team from 1995 to 1999. He is a 2-time Minto Cup champion and a 3-time scoring title winner at the Junior A level. Gavin took his passion from the floor of Iroquois Pad 1 in Whitby to the floor of the NLL, where he spent 12 seasons with 3 teams, but for the majority of his career, he was a member of the Colorado Mammoth. To go along with an exceptional 12-season career, congratulations on that, Gavin. Gavin was a 2006 All-Pro First Team, a 2006 MVP, a 1-time NLL Cup winner, a 4-time All-Pro Second Team in 2002, 2004, 2007, and 2008. And he was named to the 2002 All-Rookie Team with the New York Saints, and he is ranked 19th all-time for assists in the NLL with 505. So welcome to the series, Gavin. Appreciate you doing this. How are you doing?
Well, I can't complain. Anytime. I appreciate you having me on here.
Of course. So let's get started way back in the day when probably the last time you saw me when I was about 4 or 5 years old, maybe. So how old were you when you started playing lacrosse?
I was around that age too. I originally started playing soccer. My father was not a big fan of me sitting back in the defensive end and not seeing any of the action, more or less picking daisies on the grass, if you will. And then basically he'd gone up and asked the coach to move me up to where the action actually was on the offensive end. Unfortunately, if the coach saw my potential as being a defender for whatever reason and said, no, he's fine where he is. And without any doubt in his mind, my dad thought that maybe he should be in a different sport. So what he did was grab me right off that field on that particular day and walked me right over to Willow Park Bowl there. There's a soccer field and a lacrosse bowl there. And he just grabbed me just by the scruff of the neck and picked me up over his shoulder and said, we're going to do something different. And we tried lacrosse, and then it's been love ever since.
Wow. What has been your biggest accomplishment in the game?
I think it's being named on multiple occasions on almost every team I've been on, a captain. I think there's when the guys look up to you and they have faith in your abilities, not only to play, but to lead on all different levels, going from minor all the way through to Team Canada's and the junior ages to the professional ranks. There's just something about being able to lead a team and have them gather around and almost like gathering the troops and going to war together and looking up to you and for guidance and assistance throughout the games and throughout practices and as a leader.
How would you describe your leadership role as the captain?
Well, you have to understand personalities when it comes to teams, just like any dynamic in both professional work and with friendships in general. If you understand the dynamic and what really drives individuals to get the best out of what they're capable of doing for not only you, but for the team and for themselves. That's kind of something that I felt comfortable in doing. That's something that I've thrived in, I think, is bringing the best out of the individuals at any given time whenever we needed it to happen. And that's kind of my role is to try to, get that best out of that individual at the time that we need it.
That's really good. That's really great. So I want to jump. So I'm going to be jumping pretty much in chronological order here. So starting from your days in junior, working all the way up to the NLL. So when you were playing in the 90s, what was that junior A team like? If you could describe that 99 team in one word, of all the words in the English dictionary, what would it be, that 99 team?
Driven. I think that's a great word. Intense is another one. We basically had a goal. We lost our mentor, our coach, our father / grandfather, family member, if you will, Jim Bishop, in 1998. So it was almost unfinished business. We lost that year. We felt as though we could have won. And the arrows went out instead of us out west. So in '99, there was some unfinished business that we all felt, and we the driven part was dedicating the season to our late coach. And without a doubt in our minds, we went out and won that championship the way we were capable of playing.
That's really great. What was your favorite memory of playing lacrosse in Whitby at the junior level?
I think the ability to keep so many friends. We were fortunate enough growing up. We played every single day for 2 hours a day under the tutelage of Jim Bishop. It was forced, but it was also fun. He expected the world out of us, and he gave us the world in return. And so 2 hours a day, every day in the summer, we were out there, practicing or playing. That the majority of those players also graduated up at the same time to junior at one point or another. We all got to play together again. We did have our core group at the same age level as what I am, and that was a lot of fun. But it's just the memories of those times. There's nothing like looking forward to waking up and going to practice and working and seeing all that same dedication throughout your best friends that you got to see every single day and are still friends today. So if there is one memory that I can gather is just, there's multiple memories, but it's just the ability to wake up and get out there with your best friends.
Amazing. I know that a big part of sport is always keeping in touch with all the friends and the relationships that you've made over the years. So that's an amazing thing to still have. So from your days with the Warriors in the 90s, you are known as Mr. Everything. You did it all. You put up 132 points in 20 games. That's almost unheard of nowadays. So, like I said, you're Mr. Everything. Does that mean anything to you? And if so, what is it?
Well, it does, obviously. Of course, it means a lot if people are going to give me that moniker. It's very much appreciative. They go and appreciate my dedication, my work ethic, everything that I was driven to do in that given point in time. It all came to fruition in that particular couple of years, I guess, in a row. But the fact that people have acknowledged all the hard work and the effort, which and the ability to consistently outwork your opponent, that I think made us very successful, not just for myself, but as an entire team. So that was really something that, even though I was called Mr. Everything, I was probably called Mr. SH blank blank disturber as well. But at the end of the day, anytime you can throw some passion into your game, the passion led me for the most part of my career, and it's been something that I'll never forget. It's definitely something that I cherish for the rest of my life.
Nice. So, jumping from junior to the NLL, what was that transition like for you?
Well, you know what? It was pretty simple, natural. It seemed we were taught so well and we were prepared so well by Jim Bishop, and he taught us all the necessary skills, the way to handle ourselves with class, both on and off the floor. And then jumping into the NLL, you're playing with better players, it seems, coming from different areas, all superstars in every single team. But I was fortunate enough to go to a team that, well, fortunate or unfortunate, depending on how you look at it, that wasn't as good as the top echelon teams with New York Saints. And it allowed me to flourish a little bit more as a rookie. They relied on me a lot more like they had in junior. So I was used to that role. I wasn't used to taking a backseat role in any of the teams that I've played on in previously. So that would allow me to kind of play the same way that I was used to playing and have people rally around me. And so it was, as I said, it was pretty natural, the transition itself.
So jumping from the New York Saints to the Colorado Mammoth in 2004, you spent 10 seasons with them, and to this day, you're still considered one of the greatest Mammoths of all time to ever wear the jersey. When you hear those words, since you've retired from the NLL, what goes through your mind?
Disbelief, mostly. It's something that when you play with such great players, and I played with John Grant Jr. and I played with Gary Gait there and Brian Langtree and G Nash and there, I can continue to go down the line and name multiple all-stars and all teams and guys that have made the Hall of Fame. It's to be considered one of the best in that organization, which was tops of its time. Colorado was a fantastic organization. They treated us well. As players, they treated us like professionals, which a lot of the organizations back then did not. They had the means to. They had an amazing owner with Stan Kroenke, and they had every single electronic, you name it, that when it came down to getting the videos and prepping for game day activities, and we were treated the exact same as the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets. So they had all of those with the ability, all that organization had the ability to do that for all their teams, which was amazing. But I mean, at the end of the day, I was extremely honored to have the jersey retired and to be part of the all-decade team and whatnot. But I left my heart and my soul and my blood on that turf, and I'm glad they appreciated and acknowledged every single thing that I've done during my NLL career in Colorado. That's for sure.
Great. So going back to what I said earlier, you did literally whatever it was in junior and in the NLL. So what was it about you that you were able to do that resulted in you putting up 90 points in a season while also putting up 40 minutes in penalties, just as an example? So what was it that you were able to do to not sort of differentiate yourself, but what was the, I guess, one thing, or maybe there were multiple, that enabled you to do that?
Well, I think it comes down to toughness, and toughness not necessarily only being physically, but mentally tough as well. When you get down and I'm undersized, I'm probably less athletic than the majority of the defenders I played against. I'm weaker, probably less, they're probably better looking than me. When it all comes down into, playing against people who seem to be more talented and should dominate me as a player, there's a mental toughness aspect that comes into play that allows you not to back down. There's just a drive inside of you that says, you're going to prove everybody wrong. You're going to overachieve. And that's kind of something that's instilled in me since I was younger. I've always been kind of undersized. So it was, having that ability to do that and to overcome the obstacles, such as, driving across a 6'4", 240-pound defenseman and running around him or dragging him to the net on my back, those types of things. That's what I think is mentally tough as well as physically tough. And you can never back down from a challenge. And I didn't back down too many in my career when it comes down to sticking up for myself or sticking up for my teammates either, which I think those 40 penalty minutes can work across.
Mm-hmm. What was the best goal you've ever scored in lacrosse?
Ooh, the best goal
Of any level, of any level.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think there's a few that stick out. There was one of my first games in Colorado where I'd scored an overtime goal, and it just the intensity of the crowd in Colorado is breathtaking. The excitement in the air. It felt like lightning was surging through my veins after I scored that overtime goal, and I jumped up on the boards, and people were and over top of the glass, and people were all cheering and trying to high five and just the elation in that crowd, and the passion that they had for the game that stuck out. There's a couple. There's one in the 2006 for Team Canada when we won our very first gold medal in 28 years. That was an amazing accomplishment. My family was there to watch that, so that's another one that sticks out. And then there's one that they sometimes do play back at the junior age where it was a nail in the coffin against Burnaby, and we'd run down and scored that last goal, if you will, to go up by 3 or 4 or something like that. And just the jubilation alone, the relief of that particular goal where we made it happen again was stands out in my mind, definitely.
So sticking on the topic of that last goal in your junior days, especially in 99, was there, at what point in the season of 99 did you know that you would win another Minto? Especially as the captain, what was the defining moment when you knew, yeah, we're going to win the Minto again this year?
I think it was the second we stepped on that floor. I know it's, kind of tongue in cheek, but it was, everybody believed, in the goal, the ultimate goal, and the reason that was driving us was Jim Bishop. And it was, I guess, after our first practice and we all sat down, we realized this is the team. We all believed in each other. We believed in one goal. But right down to the end of you can never really truly predict things when it comes down to sporting events and whatnot. But I guess it was really when that final goal came into play, that jubilation feeling, that relief that came into play once that goal was scored, gave us that finally we did it. We knew we could do it, but that was truly the one moment in time in my mind that finally it was over.
What was it about Jim Bishop that made that 99 squad, and for you in particular, want you to win another one? Obviously, the unfortunate news of him passing in 98 was obviously the big reason, but what was it about Bishop as a coach and as a person that inspired you guys to win another one?
Yeah, I think he instilled so many great characteristics in each human being, and they were all different. It came down to, is something I spoke about a little bit earlier, is getting the best out of that individual and finding a way of getting through to some knuckleheads every once in a while. Jim Bishop was definitely a coach like no other. He didn't hold back against us, what he thought of us, what he thought of our play. Some of it was harsh at times, but people needed to hear that. And sometimes it was love, and people needed to hear that. So all in all, I think everybody was extremely grateful for that human being involved in their lives. As I said, it was a dedication to what he provided us, not only from lacrosse skill, but also to a life, life skills. It wasn't just he was teaching us a game of lacrosse. He was teaching us how to be proper human beings and instilling all of those great characteristics and qualities in the human, like dedication, like honor, like teamwork and love and et cetera, et cetera. That we missed it so much. We wanted to convey a message that how important he was to us, and we went out and played that way, and played with every single little bit of energy and dedication to him that particular year, which is what made us, I believe, like one of the most successful teams in junior history.
Great. When you look back on your lacrosse career from playing minor in Whitby all the way to the NLL and Team Canada, is there any moment in particular that you're most proud of, or would you say just playing is enough?
Yeah, just being able to represent the multitude of teams that I was on, and making all those friendships and relationships and building all those. And it's not easy to do when you jump on a new team, or when you're on the team for, as example, Team Canada. You're basically meeting each other and playing and finishing within 2 weeks, right? It's very hard to build a relationship or our trust in your teammates, and the dynamics are a lot different. But being able to represent all these different teams in all different ways, as well as building friendships upon all those teams, those are the things that I'm super thankful for. Is the friends that I've made throughout my career. There's the lifelong friends. There's friends that I can pick up the phone. I haven't talked to in 20 years, but they'll pick the phone up and bend over backwards if you ask them to do a favor for you. So it truly is a family-oriented sport. Always has been, always will be, I think, in my opinion. And it's something that I'll cherish all the friendships and relationships that I've had from coaches all the way down to teammates.
Well, that's again, that's another amazing thing to have in your life. Jumping now into the present. So you've retired from the NLL. What are you doing nowadays?
Well, I'm coaching now. I'm trying to give back. I was running camps a little bit during my Colorado days, and they're just a little bit too far for me to travel back and forth for a week or two a summer. So what we have found out here in the Whitby area, which is very great, is the Arena Lacrosse League, which is a feeder league to the National Lacrosse League. We see plenty of talent coming through and achieving their goals to becoming an NLL player, which is what I find is the most rewarding in this particular moment in time, is getting the players that maybe were the last cuts of their training camp, or haven't quite made it past the practice roster, to now achieving their goals and being through this particular league. And a lot from our teams, I think, graduated 5 players to the NLL from last year to this year. And just seeing, how happy and excited they are when they get their name called, when they running onto the floor for the first time. That's kind of what I'm into nowadays. So that's allowing me to get them to that next level is something that I really appreciate.
Great. So I'm assuming that's that's not your day-to-day job, correct?
Oh no, they don't pay us to do this. So it's definitely for the love of the game. I currently I run a individual health, dental, and travel insurance brokerage out of Toronto, and I've been doing that for almost 20 years now. Which goes back into intertwined between my lacrosse career. So even though you are professional lacrosse players, we don't necessarily make professional lacrosse player or professional athlete money quite yet. So we all had to have our own jobs in between the 9 to 5 hours. And so I've been doing that for, as I said, almost 20 years. And it's a family run business. So they're very understanding when it comes to if I have to take a little bit of time off from lacrosse here and there, but it's rewarding. That's for sure.
Are you still playing lacrosse, or are you mainly just coaching it nowadays?
Well, I was playing on a couple travel teams, if you will. We pick and choose some tournaments throughout the, Prague as an example, Vail, Lake Tahoe, Lake Placid, Vegas, Hawaii. So there's all these different vacation spots that everyone would love to go to on vacation, but they stick a lacrosse tournament in the middle of it. So it gives you a little bit more incentive to get out to playing some lacrosse as well. So I used to do that up until the pandemic came into play, and there hasn't been a heck of a lot of traveling and those types of tournaments going on quite yet. But I do look forward to getting back and seeing some of those friends that I haven't seen in a while.
Have you ever considered possibly making a return to the NLL as a coach or as a manager or as some other role behind the bench?
Yeah, you know what? I've had a couple of interviews here and there. Currently, I'm happy with the role that I have with the ALL. It's local and it doesn't take up a heck of a lot of time as I was trying to grow the business. But yeah, I have considered that. It's something that if I can offer my services to in the future, I would be interested, but it has to obviously be the right fit, and the right group of guys, the right organization. And I'm not desperate by any means. I do love what I do here, and it would take a lot to take me away from it.
Right. So now I got a couple of fun questions for you, just still related to lacrosse, but not quite personal. You already described the 99 team in one word, but describe playing lacrosse with one word.
Dedication.
What did you do with your time with the Cup in 99 after you won?
Oh, I think it followed us around to a couple of parties, even at a bar at one point, which was probably pretty dangerous. But we did a lot of our get-togethers with family and friends and pictures and whatnot on the arena floor. And then afterwards, it kind of, I guess, fell into the abyss of the night. And I think I saw it about 2 or 3 times, but it didn't end up with me going home. I'll tell you that. Even I probably was broken, which is why it didn't go home with me.
uh, did you have a pregame ritual or something that you always did before you had a game?
Well, I always loved in the professional league taking my naps. I'm a big napper. I reluctantly hate warm-ups, so I showed up probably when I played with Brooklyn or played with Whitby. I showed up probably 15 minutes for the game, which I'm sure my teammates did not appreciate whatsoever. But it was just something that I didn't feel as though I wanted to quote unquote waste my time warming up. My body was for whatever reason I thought was my temple, and it worked out pretty well for me. And just sitting around an arena for an hour and a half is to me was not something that I was interested in doing. It makes me antsy. It makes me, sitting around doing nothing for an hour is not my idea of a good time. So yeah, mostly for the ritualistic is a very, very short warm up, very short stretch, and a nap before the game.
Nice.
A very long nap.
Great. Well, that about wraps it up, Gavin. Want to thank you for your time. Hope you had a fun time for you reminiscing about your junior days and playing in the NLL as well. Congratulations once again on your Minto and NLL Cup titles, and all the best to you in the future.
Appreciate it, Lucas. Thanks for having me on, and whoever's next, I look forward to hearing some more of these in the future. It's always nice to hear, former Warriors and their stories and how they were with the Whitby teams just like we were, and it's a good alumni options here for sure.
Yeah, it is. Well, won't keep you any longer. Have fun tonight with the Steelhawks, and I'm sure my dad will be in touch with you soon.
Absolutely. Pop on by to a game anytime you'd like. We play Saturdays in that Children's Arena, so pop on in, see what it's all about.
Can't make this Saturday, but maybe while I'm off for break home.
Beautiful. Well, thanks, Lucas. Again, I appreciate your time, and this was fun.
Thanks, Gavin.